So Lori, give us the specifics on what some of these proposals are that the district has come up with that they want input from parents on.
So it's a pretty sweeping plan. They would take King High School, which a lot of people already think is an exam school. They have an exam program, 2 exam programs, but they would make it a full exam school. So anyone trying to get into King High School would have to take an exam to get in. And they would give priority to people who live in the neighborhood,
Okay.
which is an important thing because one of the criticisms that they've had is that, well, what about the people that live in the neighborhood that,
Shouldn't that automatically be the place where they go?
Right, and so they've already experienced with the new school at Marygrove, like the benefit of having sort of priority status for people who live in the neighborhood. And so they would give that priority to students. I mean, obviously you'd have to take and pass this exam in order to get in. So that's a really huge part of the proposal. One of the roadblocks is, there are a lot of people that feel like instead of just an exam school, there should also be a possibility for students to enter through an application process. And the district is saying that may be a little too difficult to do. So that's one of the big proposals. And there are a lot of smaller proposals. Probably one thing that the community will latch onto is that the district may, in the next few years, move out of their headquarters at the Fisher Building.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, the historic Fisher Building, which they paid a lot of money back in the early 2000s for 5 floors of the building. And they would either sell or lease the space. And Dr. Vitti has been committed. He said he's committed to not getting any less than what taxpayers pay for that space. So the headquarters would move to the school that right now houses the Detroit International Academy for Young Women, which is in the old Northern High School building on Woodward Avenue. That school would then move to, and this would actually happen first, the DIA would move first
Before they would even move the headquarters.
Exactly. So they would move to a building that the district, is a district-owned building that used to house the charter school. The district did not renew its lease last year, and so that charter school closed. So the district would move the DIA into that building.
So it's a lot of really looking at facilities and how they can better utilize them. And how would you put in context this plan and what we've seen so far and kind of the moves that Dr. Vitti's made over the last couple of years?
So it is a continuation of a lot of really big moves that Vitti has made, and the context, for the district is they want to increase enrollment, and that's really crucial to financial stability of the school district. They want to spread out their programs more equitably throughout the district, but then also a really key thing is they want to get more students in buildings that are in good condition. That's a huge thing in a district where many of the buildings are. We like to use the word crumbling. They are in terrible shape. And there was an audit last year that showed that they need $500 million worth of fixes to the buildings, and that number actually will grow within 5 years to 1.4 billion.
Well, you think about the time, and if they're not able to at least do some fixes, and I would sure that there was a bit of a shorter list of the most immediate fixes that the district has to make.
Absolutely, there are buildings that are in really poor shape. I was just out at Cody High School recently, which is not part of these proposals right now, but Cody High School has. We went in classrooms where their ceiling tiles, like half the ceiling is like the ceiling tiles have fallen down. There are classrooms in the building that they can't even bring kids into because of the concern about the falling tile. And it's a building where there's just a couple hundred students. It can hold more than 1,000 kids. Ideally, in a situation like that, you might close off certain wings of the building. They can't do that because there's so many classrooms here and there and everywhere that they can't use. That there's no way to close off the building.
So some of these facility proposals and in this plan, what are you getting the sense that people are talking about so far, or what some of the bigger concerns or the reaction will be? Because there's going to be public meetings in December and January for parents to speak out on this.
Right, so they're actually are in the midst of some public meetings about these specific proposals. I went to one at King High School a couple weeks ago, and I think the biggest they took questions via cards so people could write their questions down on cards. And, obviously one of the questions, as I mentioned, was, can we at least keep some form of an application process at the school? I think that there will be concerns about one of the proposals being moving the Communication and Media Arts High School, which is one of the top performing schools in the district. They would move that school to the building that now houses Ludington Magnet Middle School, And I've already heard from some teachers there who are not really happy about the idea that their program would then move to other locations. But this would set up CMA as giving it an ability to grow and grow its programs and be able to provide more programming, like they'd have access to athletic fields, which they don't have right now.
Right. So we're going to be getting an update from you next month. You're following the kids in college, the 4 students that went to school?
I am, and we just posted an update on Friday, and you know, the students are, you know, they are obviously having some challenges, some academic challenges. The idea of this story was looking at the kinds of programs that exist at the colleges to help students through that very critical first year, and you know, they're being run by people who've been in that situation themselves before, and the students are really taking advantage of them.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that report.